This story begins with a beautiful girl, Jay, heading to her new school on the very first day. From the outside, she looks incredibly cute and innocent, but in reality, she's not that simple at all. She was transferred from her previous school because she had created a lot of problems there. But this time, she has made a promise to herself that she will stay completely calm. She won't pick fights with anyone and will just study hard and graduate properly. She is also excited because the school is big and famous, so she has decided that this time she will give her absolute best. But the moment she enters, she realizes that every single student here is wealthy. On top of that, everyone is walking around with their boyfriend or girlfriend. But just as Jay steps inside, she accidentally bumps into a student and immediately apologizes. But the boy doesn't even respond. He just stares and walks away. Jay gets angry but reminds herself that she made a promise. No more problems. After that, she goes to the student affairs office, shows her card, and asks where her classroom is. The staff there behaves extremely rudely and barely tells her which class she needs to go to. Their attitude leaves her stunned, but she quietly walks out and heads toward the classroom. When she arrives, it feels like she has entered some kind of time portal. The place is completely deserted and filthy, like approaching a haunted castle. All the other classrooms were modern and shiny, but her class looks like an absolute ruin. She tells herself, it's okay. The outside may be rough, but the inside will be fine. As she steps inside, she runs into a group of boys. She asks them where class he is, but one of the boys intentionally gives her wrong directions and acts rudely toward her. Jay even shows them the room number the office gave her, but they figure she's a new girl who can easily be fooled. Then one particularly rude boy tells her the wrong classroom in an almost insulting tone. Jay's blood boils and she feels like smashing his face. But then she realizes this boy is actually a bully. She reaches the wrong class and finds everything clean, disciplined, and orderly. Students are well-dressed, total topper vibes. But as soon as everyone looks at her, she is stunned. The class leader walks over, asks her name, checks her card, and tells her this is not her class. She's been assigned that same old dirty classroom. Now Jay understands a rude boy lied to her. Furious, she heads back and plans to confront him. But the moment she enters the classroom, she is completely shocked. The entire class is full of only boys, not a single girl. Jay frustratedly says, "Why am I the only girl here?" But then she pulls herself together and thinks, "I'm alone, but I'm worth 100 boys." The teacher introduces her to class, but the boys immediately start making fun of her. Then the same boy who tricked her earlier appears. His name is Kiefer. He's not just the class leader, but also the biggest bully around. He laughs seeing Jay and tells her that surviving in this class will be extremely difficult for her. Jay is burning with rage inside, but shows nothing on the outside. When seating time comes, nobody wants to sit near her. She ends up sitting alone in the middle. Then Kiefer throws a banana peel at her and plans with the rest of the students how to drive this girl out of class. Together, they throw paper, food, and garbage at her. Jay, fed up, wants to complain to the teacher, but the bell rings and class ends. The moment the teacher leaves, the entire class attacks Jay. The poor girl practically becomes a garbage dump. She runs out in panic and reaches the school cafeteria. There, the leader of Class A spots her and asks if everything is okay or if someone has been troubling her. But Jay lies and says everyone welcomed her warmly. The other rich students know that classy kids are troublemakers, so they don't believe her. They tell her this cafeteria belongs to them and she should eat in her own classroom. Reluctantly, Jay heads back to that dirty classroom. She's hungry, so she sits alone and takes out her food. But the moment the other boys smell it, they swarm over and steal everything. She's stunned. They didn't leave a single bite. Right then, a new student enters. His name is Felix. Felix talks to her, and it's immediately clear that he's not like the other rude boys. He's kind and sensible. He apologizes to Jay for her classmates' behavior and explains that Class E students are banned from the cafeteria, so they're always hungry. Then Felix gives her advice. Never trust anyone, and never take out your food openly. Otherwise, everyone will steal it. Jay thanks him, but foolishly takes out her food anyway, and Felix himself grabs it and says, I just told you not to trust anyone. Do you even understand anything? Jay burns with anger and decides she wants nothing to do with these crazy people. Later, when class starts, a lady teacher walks in. But seeing the state of the classroom, she is shocked. The entire room is filled with garbage. She clearly states, "Until this place is clean, I will not teach. And if it's not cleaned, I will fail everyone." Hearing this, Jay is happy because she hated the filthy classroom anyway. She immediately picks up cleaning supplies and asks the students for help. Everyone says yes, of course. We'll do it right now. But the very next moment, they lock her inside alone. Jay goes crazy inside because she has to clean by herself. She's terrified the teacher will fail her, so she cleans with everything she has until she is completely exhausted. In the evening, she reaches home, and we learn she lives at her uncle's house to stay near school. Her aunt asks how the first day was, but Jay lies and says everyone treated her well and everything is perfect. Hearing this, the aunt is happy and warns her not to create any problems, otherwise this school will also expel her. Jay promises she will control herself this time. The next day, Jay goes with plan. This time she hides her food and goes to a corner of the campus to eat alone, so nobody bothers her. But then Kiefer shows up and without asking, sits next to her and starts eating her food. Jay stares at him in disbelief and notices that Kiefer is actually quite handsome, but she can't stand him regardless. Back in class, Kiefer hands her a note telling her to get food from the cafeteria for them since they can't go inside. But Jay flatly refuses. "I'm not your servant." Hearing this, Kiefer explodes in anger and says that she wants to stay in this class. She'll play by their rules. But Jay fires back. "I'm not afraid of anyone. You think I'm just some innocent little girl? You haven't seen what I'm capable of." Right then the teacher walks in and the tension settles. During break, Jay wants to eat peacefully somewhere alone, but the other boys follow her everywhere. She's forced to share her food with everyone just so they'll leave her alone. Jay fumes internally. If I hadn't promised my aunt and myself to avoid trouble, I would have taught all of them a lesson by now. Suddenly a new student enters class, red-haired Yuri. All the boys cheer seeing him because he's brought food for them too. But the moment his eyes land on Jay, he looks at her suspiciously and asks, "Who is this weird girl?" The others tell him she's a new student. Yuri suspects that Jay might be a spy sent by the rich students. Jay is completely baffled because she's seeing him for the first time. When she asks Felix about him, Felix explains his name is Yuri, and he's also a Class E student. He often travels to Japan to be with his family. But in reality, he and Kiefer are very close friends who do everything together. Then Yuri pulls Kiefer aside and says he doesn't want any girl in their class. Kiefer tells him he tried everything to scare Jay off, but this girl is absolutely fearless. In fact, her attitude and sharp tongue are even stronger than theirs. Yuri then plans that they will make Jay's life so miserable she'll willingly leave the class. And if she doesn't leave class, she'll have to leave the school. The day ends and Jay returns home where her uncle is waiting. Her uncle asks about her class. Instead of telling the truth, Jay says she's in Class E and everything is going fine. The uncle, who was once a school principal himself, tells her that Class E is actually a class for troublesome students who can't be placed anywhere else. Stay away from them. They're all hooligans. They can cause harm at any moment. Jay laughs and says they all seem quite decent to her. The next morning on her way to school, she encounters a handsome but fierce-looking boy. She sees him taking on a group of boys completely alone and genuinely breaking bones. Afterward, he introduces himself as Cien. He walks with Jay to school, and Jay is shocked when he reveals he's only 14 years old. But he's so academically gifted he was admitted to this school early. Jay is impressed by his personality. During their conversation, Cien tells her why Class E students are banned from the cafeteria. Apparently, there was once a girl named Ella in their class whom Kiefer loved deeply. But Kiefer caught her cheating in the cafeteria and in his rage, destroyed the entire cafeteria. That's when the ban was placed on everyone. Cien tells Jay that if she really wants to help, she should bring them food. Jay happily agrees. During break, Jay actually brings food and gives it to Cien. Cien thanks her and keeps a secret from the others. Jay eats alone and attends class for the rest of the day. But at the end of the day, when she gets up, she realizes her skirt is glued to the chair. Kiefer had applied glue to her seat. Jay tries to free herself but gets stuck, and all the boys burst out laughing. Finally, she asks CN and Felix for help. "I bring you food every day. Now help me." Both of them reluctantly pull, and her skirt tears. Jay turns red with embarrassment. CN immediately gives her his jacket to cover herself. He also warns her, "Watch out for Kiefer. If he has targeted you, he won't let you live in peace." Jay is seething with rage and thinks she'll just leave this class. But then she realizes if she does that, Kiefer wins. She goes straight to the school parking lot and challenges Kiefer in front of everyone. "Listen, Kiefer, I'm not going anywhere. Bullies like you don't scare me." Saying this, she throws the jacket right in his face and says, "What have you gained from the world? Here, take this too," in front of the entire class. Kiefer goes silent, and everyone stares in shock. Jay walks out of the parking lot with a victorious smile. Kiefer is burning inside because she publicly humiliated him. Later, CN walks her home and gives her his other jacket. Then some thugs appear, the same boys CN had beaten up in the morning. They came back for revenge. Jay reaches home to find her cousin sitting at the dining table, someone who also goes to the same school but has a completely different attitude. He hates Jay because he's embarrassed that his cousin is a classy student. At dinner, he barely speaks to her and throws sarcastic remarks. The uncle steps in and tells his son to treat Jay like a sister and look after her. He also orders him to drop Jay to school in his car from the next day. The cousin reluctantly agrees. The next morning, Jay goes to school with him just so the uncle thinks things are normal. Entering class, she glances at her chair, and yesterday's scene flashes through her mind, but she doesn't let any weakness show on her face. Then Kiefer approaches her again and hands her the same old note. "Go get us food." Jay refuses at first. "I'm nobody's servant." Kiefer warns her that kids are hungry and the consequences will be bad if she doesn't bring food. Jay finally agrees but makes it clear, "I'm doing this out of pity, not fear." She brings so much food that it starts falling from her hands. The rich students see her and laugh. "Oh, look, Classy's servant has arrived." Even her cousin spots her and is stunned to see his sister-like cousin being treated this way. For the first time, a small pang of sadness for Jay stirs in his heart. The moment Jay brings the food, all the hungry boys pounce on it, and it disappears within seconds. But Jay has gotten used to all of this by now. This time they offer Jay a seat to eat with them, and Jay happily agrees. While eating, it is clearly visible that Class E is slowly starting to accept Jay, even Kiefer and Yuri. Then the teacher enters class and calls out Jay's full name. Hearing this, students are stunned because they realize her cousin is Eris, one of the rich students. From that very moment, everyone's attitude shifts. But Jay still can't understand why people have suddenly changed toward her. She tries to talk, but nobody responds. They even refuse to take food from her hands. Meanwhile, some students start digging into her personal life. A hacker student pulls up old school news and shows everyone how troublesome Jay used to be. She had once sent a boy to the hospital, simply because he had harassed her. Then suddenly another student brings up news that Jay's childhood was deeply tragic. Her father disappeared and never came back. Her mother remarried and abandoned her. She had been living with her grandmother ever since. But now to attend this new school, she had to move to her uncle's house. Hearing all this, Kiefer's suspicion deepens. He becomes convinced that Jay was deliberately sent to their class by her cousin to spy on them. Meanwhile, Jay still can't figure out why everyone is upset with her. She reaches home and asks Eris, but he refuses to say anything. Jay gets even more confused. The next day at school, the same scene repeats. As soon as class ends, all the kids walk out and lock Jay inside alone, expecting her to clean the room. Jay overhears their conversation and understands they're all trying to drive her out of class. But this time, Jay refuses to back down. Then Kiefer enters and dumps an entire bin of garbage on the floor. He even throws trash on Jay herself. But Jay furiously grabs a bin and throws everything back down, saying, "If I clean, so do you." A fight breaks out between them. Just then Yuri enters because he's worried Kiefer might start a physical brawl. He says if the principal finds out, both of you will be expelled. Hearing this, Kiefer swallows his pride and starts cleaning alongside Jay. For the first time, Jay feels like she has truly defeated Kiefer. The next day, Jay gets into her cousin's car for school. But midway, she spots Cien and immediately gets out to walk with him. She notices injuries on Cien's face. He explains the boys from the morning fight had ganged up on him. Being alone, he lost. Jay tells him everything. What's been happening in class, and how everyone turned their backs on her. Then nervously she asks, "Will you abandon me too?" Cien smiles and says, "If anyone asks, I'll say I didn't even know you live with Eris. I'm not going anywhere." For the first time, Jay's heart feels light. Both of them enter class together. But what's happening inside is even more shocking. Kiefer is brawling with a boxing student. The bet was whoever wins becomes the new class leader. The fight was so intense, the whole classroom atmosphere had changed. Jay gets angry and slams a chair loudly to stop everyone. Then she says, "Why decide things this way? The right method is an election. There will be voting, and whoever wins becomes the leader." Everyone likes her idea and agrees. But during break, when Jay goes to the cafeteria, she finds out she has now been banned too. Then the rich girl from before helps her get food. Jay thanks her for the first time. But as soon as she returns to class, she finds out the election completely failed and kids are fighting again. This time, Jay supports the boxer and cheers him on to defeat Kiefer. Hit right. Now left hook. But fate flips, and in the very first round, Kiefer knocks him out cold. All students cheer his name, and he becomes class leader again. Jay feels bad seeing the boxer's condition. She goes to him, cleans his wound, gives him food, and perhaps in this very moment she understands for the first time where she belongs in this class. During PE, when everyone was casually changing clothes, Jay feels a little embarrassed. She tries to close her eyes but doesn't quite manage, and her gaze accidentally falls on Kiefer, who is changing his shirt. Jay is stunned just looking at him. Her heart begins to race. Then everyone heads to the ground for exercise. There Jay spots her cousin Eris, sitting with his girlfriend Ella. But her eyes drift to Kiefer, who is staring at them with jealousy. And in that moment, everything clicks for Jay. Kiefer once loved Ella, but she left him and chose Eris. That's why Kiefer's anger is directed at her cousin, and he wants revenge no matter what. The game begins, and Kiefer furiously hurls a ball toward Jay. The rest of the students copy him until one ball hits Jay hard across the face. She falls to the ground. Blood starts coming, and she cries out in pain. Everyone's face falls at this sight. Even Kiefer feels regret for the first time. Eris immediately takes Jay home. Jay stays locked in her room for 2 days and doesn't even go to school. Then her aunt comes to her, cooks her favorite food, and says you have to go back to school. Exams are approaching. Jay gathers some courage and agrees. One day she goes to a mall, but some thug boys start harassing her there. This was actually Kiefer's planning. But at the same moment, Kiefer himself enters like a hero and rescues her. He sits her down, bandages her wound, and brings her ice cream. His real intention was to apologize indirectly. For the first time, Jay feels something for Kiefer in her heart, but she holds herself back. She says, "I'll only forgive you when you say sorry from the heart." But Kiefer's ego is too big, and he flatly refuses. Jay angrily walks away, but doesn't forget to take the ice cream. Your money was spent on it after all. Why would I leave it? The next day at school, Jay is changing the bathroom when some rich girls walk in and start talking badly about her. She's so ugly, yet acts like she owns the place. This time, Jay doesn't stay quiet. As she steps out, the girls are doing their makeup, and Jay in her rage splashes water on them and runs. The girls furiously chase her and eventually catch her. Jay expects Eris to show up and save her. But Eris simply says, "If you made a mistake, just apologize." The girls get even worse. One rich girl says, "You're Class E and I'm Class A. You'll polish my shoes before I forgive you." Jay's anger explodes. "You know where that shoe is going? To your mother. Go have her lick it for you." The atmosphere turns explosive. The girls move forward to beat her. But then Kiefer and his gang make their entry. They say, whoever lays a hand on Jay will break their face. A fight breaks out. Jay joins in and slaps that rich girl hard. Just then a boy tries to throw dirty water at Jay. But the same boxer student she had helped earlier rushes forward and saves her. The water falls on him instead. Jay stares at him in disbelief because he protected her without caring about his own safety. He pulls Jay out of there and takes the hit himself. Afterward, Jay visits him at the hospital, meets him, and genuinely thanks him from her heart. Meanwhile, Yuri and Kiefer are having a meeting. Yuri says all our tricks have failed. Jay is still standing strong in class. Kiefer responds with a cold smile. Now I will trap her in love. Then I'll break her heart. That will be my revenge against Eris. Hearing this, Yuri is shocked because Jay was now unknowingly about to become part of Kiefer's dangerous plan. The next day, everyone asks Jay what happened, but she lies and says she was just a little sick. Kiefer doesn't believe her. He suspects someone hurt Jay and tells his friend to find out who. During break, the class boys check Jay's bag and steal her food. Jay chases after them, and Kiefer, watching her innocence in this moment, completely falls for her. He now realizes this attraction isn't fake. He genuinely likes Jay. At the end of the day, Kiefer receives word that rich students are fighting Jay in the field. Jay stands her ground completely. She takes down 2 of them alone. But the third attacks from behind and is about to break her arm when Kiefer enters like a hero. He shoves the boy away and stands behind Jay, saying she's not alone anymore. Together they beat up those rich boys thoroughly. Jay collapses exhausted on the ground and thanks Kiefer. Kiefer walks away shyly. Just then Yuri arrives and warns Jay, don't get Kiefer into trouble. If the principal finds out, he'll be expelled. Yuri himself takes Jay out of there. Then rain begins. He shelters her under his umbrella, but Jay slips in the mud and falls. Yuri tries to help her and falls too. For just a moment their eyes meet, and both their hearts skip a beat. Jay shyly pulls away. Yuri drives her home in his car. On the way, he notices Jay is shivering, so he gives her his jacket. Jay is tired and falls asleep. Yuri doesn't wake her. Instead, he takes her to his own home. When she wakes up, she's stunned. Yuri's house is like a palace. Inside, a maid stands ready to welcome them. This is where we learn that Yuri comes from a super rich family. His grandfather owns the Hanamichi Group. After this, Yuri takes her to his room and asks her to change her clothes. Jay cheekily says, I know what kind of guy you are. Yuri immediately turns around and says, stop the drama and just change. Then Jay is enjoying the view of the city. Yuri comes from behind. Jay teases him about his hair. Through these little moments, they start understanding each other better. Slowly, a deep friendship begins forming between them. Then Yuri introduces her to his grandfather. The grandfather instantly likes Jay because she is straightforward, well-mannered, and sweet. They sit together to eat. Jay doesn't know how to use chopsticks, so she eats with her hands. Grandfather smiles. This girl is different. The next day, Jay arrives at school. At the gate, she thanks Yuri. Both of them enter class, laughing together. Seeing them together, Kiefer burns with jealousy. But Yuri explains everything to him, which reduces his suspicion. That same day, the principal calls him in. The fight from last night has blown up into a big issue. Jay remembers Yuri's warning about protecting Kiefer from trouble. Nervously, Jay takes all the blame on herself. She says, I started the fight. Kiefer is completely stunned hearing this. For the first time, he feels just how different Jay is. After school, her uncle arrives. Furious, he reminds her of her promise not to cause trouble. Jay apologizes and promises again there will be no more problems. The uncle starts driving her home, but gets busy on the way. He hands her his card and tells her to take a taxi home and buy whatever she likes. Jay's eyes light up. What a card! Now it's shopping time. And she genuinely goes all out shopping. On the other side, Kiefer and his gang meet at Yuri's house. Kiefer angrily lays out his plan. Now I will make Jay fall for me. She will love me and then I'll break her heart. Just like her cousin stole Ella from me and shattered me. Everyone is stunned hearing this. Yuri feels it's completely wrong. But he can't say anything out of fear that others will think he's a traitor. The next day when Jay comes to school, everyone treats her very warmly. Even Kiefer himself reserves a seat for her and says, come sit beside me. Jay is totally puzzled. What is going on? Did I die or something? Jay still couldn't figure out how Kiefer had changed so suddenly. Reluctantly, she goes and sits next to him and quietly feels happy that at least the boy has improved. Meanwhile, Yuri watches all of this. He wants to warn Jay, but at the last moment stays silent. During break, when Jay steps out of class, Kiefer follows. He tries to talk to her and asks where she's going. Jay is surprised. This boy has become way too sweet. She thinks, "Be honest, what are you planning? Some kind of prank?" And without answering, she walks ahead. Then Kiefer playfully trips her foot lightly. Jay almost falls, but Kiefer instantly grabs her hand. Their eyes meet. Kiefer's smile makes Jay even more flustered. Her heart races, but she lies to herself. No, it's nothing, and quickly leaves. She goes to the cafeteria for water, but as she comes back out, she hears a strange sound from behind a garbage bin. Nervously, she goes closer and finds it's not a prank. It's a girl. Mika. She is crying badly and her clothes are dirty. Jay understands that the rich students tortured Mika because she refused to bully Jay. Jay feels sorry for Mika and takes her to the bathroom to clean her face, fix her clothes, and promises, "From now on, I will protect you." Mika becomes very emotional and accepts Jay's offer and comes to her class. Seeing Mika in class, Kiefer gets furious. "Get her out of here. We don't need more problems." But Jay stands firm and doesn't back down. She says in front of everyone, "This girl stays with me. I will never leave her alone." Kiefer sees, but Jay sits right next to Mika. At the end of the day, Jay walks out with Mika, so nobody else can trouble her. Then she notices Felix, following them from a distance. Jay jokingly asks Mika, "Is he your ex?" Mika reluctantly admits the truth. She says, "Yes, we were once together. He proposed to me, and I thought he was genuine. But Ella warned me that Felix was just using me. She even saw him with another girl. When I found out the truth, I left him. We haven't spoken since." Jay gets emotional hearing her story and holding her hand says, "Starting today, I'm your best friend." Mika's eyes fill with tears of joy. Back home, Jay requests her cousin protect Mika and tell the kids to stop bullying her. The cousin agrees. But Ella feels guilty that Mika is being targeted because of her. The next day, Jay enters class with full energy. She greets everyone playfully. Kiefer notices and complains, "You say hi to everyone, but not me. Am I the black sheep?" Jay immediately replies, "Are you even on my level for me to joke with you?" Kiefer has no comeback. Just then, Ella enters class. She calls Jay over and thanks her for helping Mika. Ella says, "Please take care of Mika. I can't always be there for her." Jay promises. But then Ella also tells her, Mika might want to give Felix another chance. "I don't trust him. Please stop her." Jay flatly refuses. That's her decision. If she wants to give Felix a chance, that's her right. Ella smiles on the outside, but Jay senses she's planning something else. The moment Jay steps back into class, everyone crowds around her. What did Ella say? But Jay says nothing. Then suddenly Felix gets a message on his phone and nervously goes looking for Mika. Jay and everyone else follow him. They find a rich boy presenting Mika with flowers and proposing to her. Rich girls encourage their friend, "Accept it." But Mika hesitates because of what Jay told her and because her heart still holds a place for Felix. The rich boy gets angry and yells at Jay to stay out of it and tries to start a fight. Kiefer and his gang immediately step forward to protect Jay and threaten the rich boy. "If you trouble her again, we'll make things very bad for you." The atmosphere fills with tension. Then Felix arrives. He stops Mika and apologizes in front of everyone. He says, "Yes, I made a mistake, but I've truly changed now. Please give me one more chance." His emotional confession moves everyone. Mika's eyes fill with tears and she agrees. And just like that, Mika rejected the rich boy and chose Felix. Jay is happy seeing her friend's happiness. Back in class, everyone is joyful that they helped their friend. And Jay hands Felix an old letter, the one Mika had written. When he opens it, he finds out it was sent on his birthday, expressing that she loved him and trusted him. Reading this, tears streamed down his face because even after their breakup, Mika had remembered his birthday. Jay encourages him to go meet Mika. And he does exactly that. Jay is overjoyed that she helped bring them back together. But just then, Kiefer arrives and discovers Felix is going to meet Mika. Kiefer worries the rich boy might start a fight with Felix. So he goes along with Jay. There, Felix apologizes to Mika, tells her he loves her deeply, and promises never to hurt her again. Watching this genuine moment, Kiefer keeps staring at Jay and asks her for a chance too. Jay is pleased by his words but embarrassed and quickly leaves. Back in class, Mika is waiting for Jay. She thanks her and hands her a letter with her reply. But she's too shy to give it to Felix herself, so she asks Jay to deliver it. Jay nervously worries it might be a rejection, but reluctantly hands it to Felix. Felix reads the letter and breaks down crying. Jay tries to lighten the mood jokingly. "Hey, buddy, if it wasn't meant to be, there's nothing you can do. No kiss. A hug will do. And hey, sometimes life doesn't taste great, but it's okay." Felix hugs her and thanks her because the letter said that Mika had forgiven him and was ready to be together again. All the class students are thrilled and cheer him on to go to his girlfriend. After that, their sports class takes place, and everyone heads to the ground. The teacher says begin training. I'll be right back from the washroom. Taking advantage of this, Kiefer starts bothering Jay again and shoves her to the ground. But our Jay is no pushover. She says, "What's wrong with you?" and retaliates by tripping him and knocking him down. All students gasp in shock, and Kiefer, furious, is just about to strike when he suddenly starts laughing and chases her all across the field. Eventually, he catches her and lifts her up in front of everyone. In that moment, his gaze gets lost in Jay's beauty, and he cannot help himself. He kisses her lips right then and there. Everyone is stunned. This guy is absolutely shameless. He kissed her in public. Then Jay's cousin walks onto the field and tries to take her away. But Kiefer stops him, and both of them pull Jay in different directions. Finally, Kiefer proves stronger and pulls Jay toward himself. In front of everyone, he hugs her and kisses her a second time. Seeing this whole scene, everyone is completely shocked. Bro, have some shame at least. People are watching. But this time, Jay erupts in anger and lands a powerful punch right on Kiefer's face. His bones rattle. All the students are stunned that Jay is this strong. Now, everyone understands, this girl is no easy target. Kiefer goes off to get treatment for his injury, and his friends laugh at him. "Son, a girl just wrecked you in front of everyone." His friend Yuri asks why he did it. Kiefer says it was all his plan so Jay would fall for him. But Yuri doesn't buy it and feels Kiefer is genuinely falling in love with her. The next day, Jay heads to school and, seeing two couples together, remembers Kiefer's actions from yesterday. She's angry, but somewhere inside it also feels good. She realizes she is being drawn toward Kiefer, but tells herself, no, I could never love a wild animal like him. Just then, Cien notices her and asks what's wrong. Jay says she couldn't sleep all night. She goes to the washroom to wash her face. A girl there notices she has a fever. She tells her go get checked in the health room, and also warns her that the girl who bullied her before is planning revenge. Jay thanks her and returns to class. All the kids are still laughing about yesterday's kiss scene, but Jay is so exhausted she doesn't pay attention. Then the teacher hands out exam papers. Everyone begins writing, but Jay starts feeling dizzy and falls asleep on the desk. Kiefer and Yuri notice she hasn't written anything and think about helping her. Finally, when class ends and she wakes up, she realizes she wrote nothing at all and feels sad. During break, she's hungry and notices cooking equipment in their classroom. Her inner chef mode activates and she begins preparing food. All the students support her and bring her everything she needs. Now, Jay begins cooking for all the students. All the kids gather around her, excitedly waiting to try her food. Then Kiefer walks in. He sees everyone smiling and jealously says, "I wish I was the one she was cooking for." Jay hears this and blushes and keeps glancing at him. But in all the distraction, the food burns on the stove. The class teases them. "Of course you had to show up. You jinx." And everyone walks away, leaving them. A little later, the exam results come out. Everyone rushes to check their scores, and Jay, embarrassed, assumes she has failed. But Kiefer gives her courage and takes her to see her result. She discovers she has actually scored good marks. She gets happy and understands Kiefer had helped her. Jay thanks him. On the way back to class, Jay sees Cien holding an expensive bag. He explains a rich girl asked him to hold it while she used the washroom. But when the girl returns, she accuses him of stealing money from the bag and immediately calls her boyfriend. The boyfriend starts screaming at Cien, "You're a thief." But Jay defends him and says Cien did nothing. The situation escalates into a big fight, and kids say Cien should be taken straight to the principal and expelled. Then a rich student steps forward and gives the girl money back just to end the matter. But Jay gets furious because now everyone thinks Cien is actually guilty. She is about to fight the girl and her boyfriend. But Yuri pulls her back to class so things don't get worse. Jay shouts at Cien, asking why he didn't speak up for himself. Cien tearfully explains he has no confidence, and nobody will ever believe him. Hearing this, Jay's heart melts. She hugs him and says she believes him. After school, Jay walks Cien home and meets his mother. She realizes his mother is always busy and his father and brother ignore him too. Seeing this breaks Jay's heart, and she thinks Cien is very lonely. She promises she will stand by him and prove his innocence. The next day at school, Jay sees Kiefer smoking. She gets upset and pretends not to have noticed. But Kiefer follows her, apologizes, and promises not to do it again. Jay forgives him, but on one condition: he must help her prove Cien's innocence. Kiefer agrees. Together they think it through and suspect the girl who made the accusation is working with someone. So after school they go to her house and offer money to get the truth out. But the girl refuses and says she will completely destroy Cien's reputation and tell everyone he's a thief and fraud. Jay, furious, is about to hit her. But Kiefer stops her and says violence is not a solution. Go sit in the car. I'll talk to her. Kiefer goes alone to speak with her, but the girl ignores him and slams the door in his face. Kiefer returns to the car looking embarrassed. Jay taunts him. Yeah, you should have let me hit her. Would have made things much easier. The next day, Jay arrives at school furious and throws money in front of all the rich kids and announces, "Listen up, everyone. Cien is not a thief. If anyone stole that money, it was me." Everyone is stunned. She returns to class thinking the matter is settled. But the real shock comes when she finds out that bully girl had already filmed everything and gone viral across the entire school. Jay becomes completely notorious. But Jay doesn't care at all because her victory was clearing Cien's name. Cien emotionally hugs her and says he will never forget what she did. After that, Kiefer pays a hacker friend to get the video deleted, but it was already too late. Jay's family had seen the video. Her grandmother and another aunt come to meet her, but Jay is too ashamed to face them. She hides and overhears them speaking badly about her, saying wherever she goes she creates trouble. This breaks her heart. She feels like nobody understands her. In anger and heartbreak, she walks out of the house and rides away on her bicycle. To ease her tension, Jay goes to a restaurant and orders her favorite food. But they're the same toxic students are sitting, and they force the owner to kick her out because she's a thief. The owner, scared of losing business, requests Jay to please quietly leave. Our heroine's heart shatters, and she's about to go. Right then, Yuri makes his entrance. He sees the scene and immediately tells the owner to clear out all customers. Only Jay stays. Not just that, he promises to personally cover the entire day's profit. The owner, intimidated by Yuri's powerful family and business empire, has no choice and throws out the toxic students. Then Yuri personally invites Jay in and tells the owner that whatever Jay orders goes on his account. Jay gets emotional from his help and happily eats while Yuri just watches her. It's clearly visible he has started genuinely feeling something for Jay. And on the other side, Kiefer watching this starts burning with jealousy. In his mind, he wonders, will this guy take my place? While eating, Yuri asks Jay why she helps Cien. Jay explains that she considers her classmates like siblings because she once had a real brother who is no longer with her. Yuri is deeply moved by her heart and now completely starts falling in love with her. Just then, Kiefer gets a call from a friend and quickly leaves. Yuri, seizing the moment, asks Jay whether she has ever loved anyone. Jay hesitantly shares that she was once in a relationship, but her boyfriend went into a coma. Yuri wants to know more, but Jay changes the topic and asks him the same question. Yuri shares that yes, he too had loved someone, but that girl went away with Jay's cousin, meaning Yuri also loved Ella. Jay understands his pain and tries to cheer him up and lighten his mood. Night falls and Yuri decides to drop Jay home on her bicycle. Yuri rides fast and Jay, scared, holds onto him tightly. Playfully, she tickles Yuri and he loses balance. Both of them fall. Jay's leg gets hurt and Yuri immediately bandages her wound. Then he seats her on the bicycle and walks alongside her on foot. Jay's heart melts. She feels like someone truly cares about her. Reaching home, Jay's grandmother and relatives see them and panic, thinking something terrible happened. Yuri does first aid and grandmother holds Jay's hand, comforting her. Jay is happy that her grandmother truly loves her. But then grandmother mistakes Yuri for her boyfriend. Jay blushes and clarifies he's just her classmate. Right then her cousin arrives, and seeing Yuri flares up because they are enemies. The cousin wants him thrown out, but grandmother stops him and makes Yuri stay for dinner. Jay is delighted while the cousin burns inside. After dinner, Jay herself walks Yuri to his car and thanks him. Yuri is genuinely happy when Jay calls him her closest friend. The next day, Jay arrives at school to find the boy who had accused CN being beaten up badly by the classmates trying to force the truth out. Jay sees this and gets angry and stops everyone, saying violence solves nothing. But Kiefer still tries to hit him. Just then the boy's girlfriend breaks down crying and admits in front of everyone that someone forced her to do it. But out of fear, she can't name who. Then a girl enters from the doorway with a camera, laughing and recording everything. And finally, Jay's innocence is proven before everyone when her friend helps clear her name. Jay gets emotional and thanks her. But the shocking revelation is that the real mastermind was Kiefer. Yes, Kiefer had planned the entire thing to prove Jay's innocence. He expects Jay to properly thank him and go on a date with him. But Jay, embarrassed, flatly refuses. Kiefer is a little irritated and snatches her food dish and runs away. Jay fumes. But later, sitting with her friends, she bursts out laughing. Meanwhile, Kiefer deep inside is happy that Jay is slowly getting closer to him. The next day, Yuri picks Jay up from her house in his car, and they arrive at school together. In class, Kiefer sees this and starts acting up, stealing food and making jokes. Yuri feels jealous, worrying Jay might fall for Kiefer. Just then, the teacher announces that the school is about to have a festival week very soon. A week-long festival where every class must participate in competitions, and whatever class loses will clean the entire school. Jay gets excited, but Kiefer immediately refuses because their class always loses. They argue, but Jay decides she will participate no matter what. During lunch, Kiefer stops Jay and says from now on nobody will steal her food. He'll make sure of it personally. Jay is happy and calls all her friends. Everyone sits in class together eating. But then the jealousy game begins. Yuri brings Jay her favorite food, and Kiefer gets paranoid that Yuri is stealing her from him. He makes up his mind. He'll personally bring Jay special food too. After this, Jay finds out that one of their class students has been absent for days because he works at a restaurant